I have a confession to make. I have such a high screen time amount. It ranges anywhere from 45 to 60 hours and about 1,000 pickups a week. I may not be on my phone, but I'm playing something constantly. I think the reason for this is because I can't handle empty space. I like to be focused on something. I don't necessarily like to be in my own head, but I've noticed that this is causing a lot of issues for me. I don't want to be dependent on my phone as much anymore, and I want to make more time for other things. I realized, however, that there are other things I do need on a daily basis and appreciate about technology that I believe I can still use responsibly. To try and maybe find some of this balance, I decided to give myself a challenge. I am going to be using only my Apple Watch as my phone for an entire week. With an Apple Watch, I can still use my maps, listen to music, and get a hold of people, but I think that this would be a really good way to minimize those distractions and make it harder for me to be on my phone. So my goal in this experiment is to not be on my phone at all. I want to just use my Apple Watch for the necessities during the day, but not use my phone in any of my downtime. So that's what this video is going to be about this week, is just my process and seeing if I like it or if I fail at it or what happens. Just parked here at work, just got here. My watch wouldn't connect to my Audible, so I couldn't listen to any audiobook this morning. So that was kind of annoying, but I could still connect to Spotify. Overall, it wasn't too difficult getting here. One thing that I definitely forgot that I probably shouldn't have was my Apple Watch charger. I left the charger at home, so if my Apple Watch dies at some point during the day, it's just dead. Okay, I just got home from work from day one. My Apple Watch is dead. It is at 7%. I did not even get to use my Apple Watch as much as I would have liked to today. Didn't get to use Spotify or Audible during the second half of my workday, and I really would have liked to, but my watch was dying, so I just kind of did my work in silence. And I still have the rest of the evening to get through. Kody 3D printed me a Apple Watch stand at work. Here. Thank you. Last night was pretty good. I didn't need my phone to fall asleep. Like I said, I always use my phone to fall asleep. I start scrolling in bed and then eventually I just listen to like a YouTube video or something like that to fall asleep. So I wasn't able to do that, so I kind of just went to sleep. So that was really cool that I didn't need to be dependent on my phone to be able to go to sleep last night. But yeah, day 2, probably not going to be that hard, honestly, so we'll see. day 7 of no phone and just using my Apple Watch. I made it to day 7, guys. So as I said earlier, I started this challenge because I realized that my screen time was way too high and I really wanted to lower that and also just get a little bit less dependent on my phone. But my main goal for this week was to keep my screen time below an hour every day, and I actually succeeded in that. I started this challenge on Monday, February 5th, and my screen time for Monday, February 5th was 54 minutes. Tuesday, February 6th, my screen time was 50 minutes. Wednesday, my screen time was 45 minutes. So we're still at less than an hour every day. Thursday, February 8th, my screen time was only 22 minutes. Friday was 42 minutes. Yesterday, which was Saturday, February 10th, my screen time was only 44 minutes. Today, right now, is 51 minutes. Okay, so basically if I add up all those days for the week of my screen time, I get 309 minutes, which is only 5 hours and 9 minutes total. For reference, the week right before the week that I started this challenge, my screen time was 51 hours and 59 minutes, which is insane to me. The biggest challenges that I found with using my Apple Watch was really just messaging. I had a really hard time texting people back. I definitely learned what it was like to sit at lunch during my work days and just not have my phone to scroll on. And so just kind of sit there in silence. Something else that I really took advantage of this week when I had more time was reading both the Bible and my audiobook. It doesn't take me that long to fall asleep anymore. I used to think that it would take me a long time to fall asleep, but I think that I just had my phone as a distraction. Oh, something else that I forgot to mention, phone calls were really difficult, and also you can't FaceTime on your Apple Watch. So I missed a couple FaceTimes and I missed a couple phone calls. Hello?
Can you hear me?
No. Overall, I think this was a really good experiment just to get myself to realize that I don't need to be so dependent on my phone. I can leave it in another room, I can set it aside, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. And I don't always need that constant distraction and that constant temptation to be locked in it. Going forward, I don't know that I would completely rely on my Apple Watch again. It was kind of difficult communicating. So what I hoped to accomplish with this whole thing this week was just to become less dependent on my phone and lower my screen time, because my screen time was kind of sad and kind of disappointing. I'm going to hopefully continue to keep my screen time as low as possible in the future. Overall, this was a really good experience for me. I learned a lot about myself and the things that I need on a daily basis and don't need on a daily basis. I would recommend that if you are feeling like your screen time is really high, that you maybe try something like this too. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. So anybody could do this too. Really put a plan into place to get off of your phone, get off of the screens, try something new, utilize your time differently.